Hello, good evening. My name is Enas Elgehmi. I'm a student from University of Bolton, Ras Al-Khaimah in UAE. I'm going to be presenting my chosen topic, which is law. I'm going to be talking about law in the new normal as in the present state of society. Now, of course, I'm going to be starting with introducing the topic first. So, of course, what is law? So, law is a set of rules that have been applied to society to regulate, as a system to regulate behavior in such manner, and it's basically called the science and art of justice. So now, of course, what is really the new normal? So it's basically like any crisis that occurs in the economy or society that people learn to adapt to, and it differs from what it used to be before. So it basically becomes our new normal. So everything is now on set, like to live that way from now on. So of course, most recent case was the COVID-19. Now, how did the COVID-19 really impact law or the legal regulations now, or the legal firm, sorry. So now, of course, COVID-19 had a really massive impact in all businesses or all economy in general. And as for law, everything pretty much switched from being face-to-face to online ever since the lockdown, where everyone had to go to their own homes. So everything had to be online for the safety of everyone, as social distancing was a very important aspect. So now everything, when it comes to submissions of documents and online services, it all turned to online services from that big impact. So now every submission is given online, and all the courts or any cases been taken online from that time. So now, of course, my findings to that. So law, even though it's a crisis, law did embrace the fact that everything became online. So of course, from now, lawyers don't have to go from court to court for different cases or different courts from before. Everything now is online. It's much easier. They can easily open all the Zoom calls at once. They can easily get the documents sent to them at the same time. There's more time management, but of course, the system all has changed. Now there's online judging. One example here in UAE. So, of course, for example, meetings, depositions, and hearings are all online now. So, one example, for example, if there's a tenant, and let's say he's in France. So, of course, it could have been difficult and more expensive before for them to buy a whole ticket and get all the way here, for example, in UAE, to regulate the case. But now he can easily sit in his own place at home in France and have the meeting online, which now, of course, as an advantage, it's much easier and cheaper. So, but what is really the unsustainable problem that's occurring even now in law? So, of course, the biggest fear of lawyers is the work overload, which is a very common thing. So, of course, case managers actually have this problem where, of course, they have to maintain quality of their services, their documents, everything, their licensing, everything, and please the clients at the same time. So, of course, I've been seeing this as a very common problem. And as a personal case, I do have one case where my own father actually did an online judgment, yet it still took so much time when everything was ready. All the documents gave enough evidence, like it didn't need that much time. So, of course, I thought of maybe finding a way to fix this problem. So my own solution was, there's one example is in NHS in UK. They had a case where a client actually had cancer and it was in a very minor state. So, but they told her that she can't come and get an appointment at that same day. So they had to they had to postpone her appointment a few days later, which by then became too late, that she actually passed away. It was too late to treat the tumor, and she actually passed away. So from then, they started doing a program where it's basically a patient or clinical prioritization program, which I actually thought it was a great idea to interpret that for lawyers. Now, what they did was they would make like this survey where the clients can easily fill up all their symptoms, they can put their documents in there, and then they automatically take them to give them an appointment or give them like an emergency appointment so that they can come at the same time. So I thought it could be a very smart way to do so, since of course now everything is online, technology is very useful now, and of course there's now access to online judgments. I thought we could do that for law, and it could actually help lawyers a lot by just telling their case, telling their problems in a very summarized way. They can fill up questions, they can send their documents, they can send their pleadings, their evidences, everything in just one big questionnaire. And then the AI could easily just prioritize them or give them a specific appointment to like a bit, like it could also be a color code where, let's say if it's red, it's very important. If it's other colors, it's like less. So of course it could automatically switch them or place them in a specific appointment, which could be easily taken by them, because usually postponing or deadlines are very important in law. So I thought this could be a very good way to make it easier for both clients and the lawyers themselves, and to satisfy them, because of course case managing is a really big problem as of now. I mean, of course, even having a personal case where, like, even though everything has been taken at the same time, it still took a lot of time to initiate. And most cases, like for example in criminal cases, usually they would take years and years, where even the criminals themselves, they can literally live their lives, and like the victims could really suffer from that. So of course I think this is a very good way to do so. Now, to conclude, as I mentioned, I think my way of this way of doing it is a very great way for both clienteles and lawyers to go with. And of course, now after the COVID-19, it's much easier to do everything online, and we can easily get everything prioritized. I mean, of course, even with pro bono, it doesn't matter if someone paid $1 million for their case or if they came in for free. Of course, every client is the same, but there are still different cases of which really needs to be taken first. I mean, of course, criminal cases, it's horrible how like one case was Sister Abhaya's case in India. It took 28 years just to take the criminals into jail when she's a very young girl. I mean, it's insane. So I thought maybe this could be a really great way to minimize the time and also structure all these cases together and give them like good timing and good regulations. Okay, thank you so much.